Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are fortunate to have with us today Mrs. Mishra. So today we will be covering certain aspects of child's and overall development, child development, and she will be deliberating over the same. From that perspective, ma'am, welcome once again. And I will request you to tell us a little bit about yourself to begin with.
It's my passion to work with small children, and I'm having nearly 18 to 20 years of experience working with small children. Although I'm a microbiologist, but due to circumstances, I came into this line and it became my passion. Right now, I am quality control head for Tiolo group of schools. And every day I look forward to go to school and work. Right now, I'm working on their curriculum. And it's really pleasure for me working with small children. One thing I have observed all my career that every child possess some kind of intelligence and every child is genius, and if we tap the right intelligence, that child bound to excel in academics, because when we are tapping the interest, the areas which he or she is not interested in, those areas start, they start taking interest in those areas because they get motivation in the area they are interested in. So it is as simple as that, and I have really got good results. So I have quoted about Nivan Khandakia. He is the youngest chess player whose name is endorsed in I think India Book of Records. This child, when I interacted with the parent, they were worried about his academics. So I came to know that he's interested in chess. So I told them to train him professionally. And same child, not only in chess, he has, holding some ranking, I think 8 or 9 ranking all over the world, but academically also he's doing very well. So that is what it is all about. So children, we have to believe them. They all have potential.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you for your inputs and that wonderful introduction. And moving on, what I would like to know is that of late in this new age, we equip as parents, as educators, we see children picking up new skills, new habits. So, in terms of skill development, which are the areas that kids should be focused on, and which are the areas that parents and educators should equally be looking into?
So before we come to the skill development, what I feel from the teachers and the parents, the great need to identify their learning style. Once you are aware what learning style the child possess, I think then when we develop any skills keeping their learning style in mind, it becomes very easy for the teacher, for the parent to motivate the child for studies, and studies do not, a burden to him because he is also getting motivation in the areas which interest him. So the skill development depends majorly, and we get good results if we know their learning style, whether the child is visual learner, the child is auditory learner, or is a kinesthetic learner. Majorly these three categories. There are other subcategories also, but to cut short these three categories, if we keep in mind, definitely skill development work wonders. And the skills, like suppose the child is kinesthetic learner, he takes interest in sports because he likes to go do outdoor activities. So there the child, we have to develop that risk taking, then the coordination with the other children, because when they play, so these are the skills we have to develop in them, keeping their learning styles in mind.
Sure, ma'am. And in terms of this whole brain development, which has been there, like of late, people have become more conscious. They are gradually internalizing and imbibing these concepts about whole brain development, especially in the context of kids. So, how would this approach, the whole brain development, would help a kid in the long run in terms of acquiring new skills and, of course, moving forward, define a career path, maybe?
If it's a human psychology, if I am asking you to do something which you do not interest, I don't think you'll do it wholeheartedly. So the first thing for the brain development, that we should take care of the child's interest, and then gradually guide the child to go in right direction, and develop their brain development definitely must be according to their learning styles. This is again my answer. It comes to that only, because when we are teaching child maths, and if he's not interested, how can his brain can be developed in that particular area, if the child is very much interested in music, right? So my answer again is same. If these learning style or their intelligence is really a very very important thing to be taken care of when we talk about their brain development.
Sure, ma'am. Since you mentioned about learning styles, I would request you to share with us a few anecdotes or your personal experiences where you have seen or you yourself might have implemented unique, a novel learning style, and kid or a group of kids responded really well, and they acquired a new skill or new subject in a whole new different level.
Okay, so I don't have to go far off from this, because my own child, my elder child, Kartike, he doctor told me that he is a born slow child, and I couldn't digest it, and I took it as a challenge. So one day he came, and I used to work a lot with him, make him study. Now one day he came to me, and his homework, he has not written the questions. He just wrote one or two questions, number one and number two, and then number eight. So I came to know there were eight questions. So I asked him, Kartike, why you did not write the question in between? He said, I remember that, Mama, I'll write now. I said, okay, just write. He wrote those questions, and I cross-checked with his friend's mom. And you won't believe, there were even sequence change was also not there. From there I realized that there is no problem in my child, and then I started working on him. Today my that child, doctor said that he cannot, and but yes, I did a mistake which I have to point it out, because he was an auditory learner and I was teaching him as a visual learner. He used to listen to the things and grasp very fast, whereas I was teaching him as an auditory learner. So that was my mistake. But then that time, all these things were not very, now so media is this thing, and you read a lot of things, and with the experience also you came to know, okay, these learning styles are very important, but that time it wasn't. However, I just started working on him, his interest and everything, because I knew there is nothing, he has got a very sharp memories. So I used to teach him a lot over a period of time, but he became dependent on me. So that was also not the good thing, that when I'm sitting with him, he's studying fine, he's scoring 98%. So my husband was, he said, you are doing a wrong thing, you're making him dependent on you, just leave him. So I said, okay, I just left him. And then from 98 to he came down to 65%. Again there was a pressure, because my husband was in a transferable job. So there was a pressure on a child to that extent. My husband started putting pressure that now he's the 65% is scoring. So he put pressure that he started stammering. When I came, I realized that, I said, I told my husband that just leave him, just leave him, I don't want my child to lose his confidence. And I said, let him fail. Let him fail with confidence. I am not bothered about his studies, but he should not lose his confidence. And then I started talking to his teachers. I was working very, that time I did not pick up any job and all, but I was working very closely with his teachers to pull him up. And fortunately, I got such good teachers. So the same child now, I'll cut it short. He is in the first CAT score, he scored 25% marks, and second CAT score was 95%. And he is now Middle East operation. He is heading for Coca-Cola. So believe in your child. The most important thing when we talk about brain development or anything, the confidence. Your child should not lose confidence. And please identify his potential. If he, any child, if you talk about, no child is born without intelligence. So you have to tap the right intelligence, which I did. So, and he started excelling. So this is as simple as that. We must trust our children and their potential.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I think that was really insightful. And since you mentioned these learning styles, you talked about visual, you talked about auditory, you also talked about kid not walking away from sticking to his confidence. So, according to you, what are the things? What are the areas that, as of now, hasn't been tapped, or areas which should be focused on a little bit more in terms of let's just say skill development? Like, is there any other learning style apart from visual and auditory and the prevalent ones? Should they be somehow inducted into the learning system, the education system, according to you?
Yeah, these visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners, these are three major basic learning styles, and the other styles just the sub. There are many learning styles. Child may be word smart, and maybe he's. There are many things, but if we cannot, we just take these three basic styles into account. What I feel, because I closely worked with the parents, because I realized that parent and the teachers should be on the same platform. The area which is not tapped is, and or people think very less about it. First is relation building. Parents, it's very important, when the child come home and tell about his peer that he is not good or troubling or this, and they said, okay, wo bahut ganda bachcha hai, you don't talk to him, this that, and you how you are, you're not teaching your child to build a relation, that, or tell the teacher. So relation building is very important. Second is communication. So the proper communicate, these two areas are, I feel, not tapped that much as the other areas. In schools, what children do, very less schools I have seen, they have the conversation time where they have a class and start student, make a storytelling sessions and all that, that students start interacting among themselves with the teacher. So there they build this social emotional bond with their peers, and in later on also this continues. So communication, if you are not good in your communication, I don't think so, even if you are scoring 95% or 99%, the companies will not hire you, because you are not in your communication skills are not good. And how you can develop good communication skills, when your relations, you understand the relations. So that is also very important.
Absolutely, ma'am. And also, since we're talking about these new age skills, which will play an important role in a child's overall development. So, according to the new education policy, which has been inducted very recently by the government, and we are seeing that certain skills like financial literacy, basics of financial skills, are also gradually making its way into curriculum of kids. So, do you think it's a good idea to talk about money with kids? And if so, what exactly should we talk about money with the kids as parents and educators?
I think we all used to have our piggy banks, money banks, when we were small kid. But now, yes, we must tell our children, we must teach them about the finances, because we are already in 21st century. And if we inculcate the habit of saving, we teach them how these things will help you in future. And I think, yes, there is a great need to teach our children about finances. Just give them, I will again quote one example. We used to travel, my husband was in Chennai, posted in Chennai, and we were in Bhubaneswar, and we used to travel by train. So whatever vendors used to come in train, I used to buy them whatever they asked for. Then I realized, no, they just, I gave them 500 rupees to both the boys. You won't believe, the first vendor came and my son asked how much this chips packet cost, which they never used to, because I told them to manage in these 500 rupees till the time you reach Chennai. He asked how much this chips packet cost. So there, until now, I think that what I have inculcated that time, because my younger one is in US, he is managing all his finances, he's getting good fellowship, but he is very particular about that, this is what his budget is and this is what he has to manage in it. So yes, it is very important because I don't think so this area is tapped much, but then yes, this is the right age, because at this early stage children mind are like a cement, and whatever we imprint it lasts long. So
So, as we draw to the close of this particular interview, one parting question that I would like to ask you is that since we are talking about child development, so it encompasses a wide gamut of skills and habits and approaches, right? So, a child needs to communicate well, at the same time, he needs to be collaborative, right? At the same time, he also needs to have that confidence that he should not be afraid to fail. We are talking about a lot of things. Now, having said that, would you recommend a couple of activities, just which would serve as baby steps for any kids to actually develop themselves completely on this line? Because a kid might be of the opinion after listening to this that, hey, I don't see any of these things in me. Or a parent might also think that I don't see any of these qualities in my child, right? So, what should be the baby steps or any activity or practice that you would recommend to gradually take baby steps and acquire these skills, keeping the development in mind?
yeah, the first thing which I did for my own children was that inculcate the habit of reading, because if they get into the habit of reading, their vocabulary enhance, their communication skills get stronger, and the fear of talking is not there because they are very rich in their vocabulary, and
Absolutely.
that really takes them makes them apart from the other children. Both my sons, the younger one is very, very brilliant, but the elder one, because of his communication skills and all, he started excelling. So this is very important, the baby steps, right? The first step, I think you should inculcate the habit of reading newspapers, the first thing. So how you can start, you cannot give newspaper to a 3-year-old child or 4-year-old child, but yes, you can give them a newspaper and circle 2-letter 3-letter words, right? Let them read those words. As the child grows, give them more this thing. So he started reading the headlines, and that is how they get connected to the outer world, and they start taking the interest. So both my sons, till the time they will not start if they will not read the newspaper. So this is the major activity, I think, should be children should we should inculcate this habit of reading a newspaper. That really work wonders for my own sons. Yes, it work wonders.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to thank you once again for sharing your precious inputs and time with us. That's all, folks, for now. We'll see you on the other side once again. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was really pleasure talking to you.